Welcome to Leader IAS and Yashas Institute, Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra. Myself, Professor Suhas Sargar. Today, in this audio book, we are going to listen State Board of Maharashtra, subject History and Political Science, Standard 10th, Medium English, Chapter number 3, Applied History. So let's begin. What is applied history? Applied history and the research in various fields. Applied history and our present. Management of the cultural and the natural heritage. Affiliated professional fields. What is applied history? 3.1. Applied history is also known as a public history. Applied history is a field of study concerned with the application of history for the benefit of the people in the contemporary and the future. In box, it is interesting to know the public history. People have a lot of misgiving about the practicality of the knowledge of history. For example, history is usually thought as a field of interest only for the historian and the students wishing to pursue higher study in the subject and not pertaining to the practical life. History as a field of the knowledge does not have any applicability to economically productive field, etc. Public history helps to overcome such misgiving and makes the history meaningful in everyday life, connecting people to the history. There are the many universities abroad where the various courses in public history are offered. Srushti Institute of Art and Design and Technology is an institute at Bangalore, Karnataka. This institute has an independent department named the Center for Public History. This department has taken up the various projects and research in the field of public history. In the contemporary future's time, knowledge of the history is useful as it can provide the guidance in finding the solution to contemporary social issues and incorporate them in the social planning. Knowledge of history is essential for these purposes. The project and the programs related to the applied history can create the opportunity for people to participate along with the technical expert. Their participation in the capacity of the tourist visiting museum and the ancient site is also important. Tourism creates the interest in history among the people. They can volunteer to participate in the conservation and the preservation projects of their own city or the town or village. Applied history and the research in various fields. History is about the past event, the war, the way our present lifestyle is shaped is dependent on the historical chain of events. Historical events relate to the various fields like politics, social and religious structure of a community, philosophy, technology and science, etc. Each of these fields have their own history of building knowledge. The direction of future development in the every field is dependent on the state of available knowledge. Hence, the method of history can prove to be valuable in the research of various fields. For example, first, philosophy. The history of philosophy helps to understand the origin of various ideology, the intellectual tradition giving rise to those ideologies and their historical development. Philosophy needs that language as a medium of expression. In order to understand the philosophical expression, knowledge of the history of language proves useful. Second, science. The history of the science helps to understand the chronological order of scientific discoveries, inventions, and theories. It can also help to understand the cause and effect chain that lead to those discoveries and the inventions. It is said that the need of the mother of invention, need is the mother of invention. Scientific discoveries and the inventions are often the effect of the human efforts to fulfill the need of and also the curiosity. These efforts are based on already available scientific knowledge. Knowledge of history of science helps in understanding the factors that facilitate the scientific discovery or inventions and also its chronology. Third, technology. The history of technology helps in understanding the changes and their causes in the field of agricultural production, commodity production, architecture, engineering, etc. The scientific discoveries or the inventions and technology advancement are mutually dependent on each other. Knowledge of the science and technology was very important at every step, from the making of stone tools to agricultural production in the evolution of mankind. Later, the advancement of the science promoted the mechanization of production. It is necessary to know the history of technology in order to understand the development of mechanization and the mutual dependence between science and technology. 4. Industry and commerce. The field of mutual social transaction depends with the growth of industry and trade. It also promotes the continuous development of the network of cultural interaction. It is an integral part of the industrial and the commercial management. It is essential to understand the history of these processes. The nature of the market and the commerce has continued to change. Accordingly, the nature of the human relationship and the social organization also has continued to change. To understand these developments, it is necessary to study the history of the culture, social organization, and economic institutions. Fifth, the management studies. In order to understand the various factors involved in the chain of production, such as means of production, human resources, and the processes of production, as well as the chain of market and sell management, etc. It is essential to have a knowledge of similar functional system of the past. It is essential to understand the psychological characters of the people working at a various level in the chain of production and the marketing for healthy management. In order to achieve it, understanding of the social and the economical institutions that support the industrial and the commercial process is important. Knowledge of history in this regard makes the management at various levels easier. Arts. It is important to understand the development of various art forms like with the help of their style of expression and their foundation in the form of intellectual, emotional, cultural tradition. The key to express the any art form, emotional temperament of the artist and the development of history of the respective art form can be understood with the help of cultural history. 7. Humanities. Humanities include the disciplines like history, archaeology, sociology, anthropology, political science, economics, etc. To understand the history of the origin and the development of these disciplines is an essential part of their learning. All disciplines are supposed to have their own origin in philosophy. The ancient people all over the world tried to speculate in order to understand the relationship between the universe and the human existence. It gave rise to the various mythological stories about the origin of this world. In universal order, the human life, gods and goddesses, rituals and their philosophical explanation, roots of the philosophical pondering are to be found in these mythological stories. Various disciplines under the humanities have theoretical foundation based on philosophical theories. Only historical knowledge can help us in understanding these developmental stages. So that's all about these audiobook. Friends, we are from Leader IS and Yashas Institute, Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra. Myself, Professor Suhas Sargar. Thanks for listening this audio. Soon we release the second part of this chapter, Applied History. Till now, thanks for listening.